Unit 10. Australia's Immigration Policies Under Fire for Discrimination. March 18th. Australia's strict immigration policies have long been criticized, particularly for how they treat people with disabilities. Having been residents of Australia for years, Scottish Laura Curry and her Italian partner Dante Venditelli recently experienced the impact of these immigration policies. Their son Luca, born in Australia and diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, became the reason their residency application was denied due to the anticipated high healthcare costs. Had Luca been healthy, there would have been no objections to their permanent residency. This case not only highlights discrimination against disabled individuals, but also raises questions about fairness and inclusion within Australia's immigration system. For decades, Australia has been giving migrants with disabilities the cold shoulder, a policy rooted in its Migration Act of 1958. Despite years of revisions, current regulations still mandate rigorous health assessments for nearly all visa categories, capping acceptable medical expenses at 86,000 Australian dollars over 10 years. Regardless of how long an individual has lived in Australia, where they were born, or their financial ability to handle medical costs, they could face visa denial or deportation. This risk arises if the government perceives their future healthcare costs as excessive. Defending this stance, government officials argue that such policies are necessary to manage public resources and maintain a balanced healthcare system. Not everyone is convinced by this argument, however. Disabled rights advocates and critics view these policies as discriminatory violations of fundamental human rights that are at odds with Australia's proclaimed values of equality and inclusivity. They assert that the immigration system treats disabled applicants as if they were mere burdens rather than individuals with potential to contribute. The growing opposition and calls for reform across Australia's political arena indicate a pressing need for change. Truly promoting equality requires a critical re-evaluation of these immigration policies. If left unaddressed, the continued exclusion of disabled migrants will perpetuate social biases and damage Australia's reputation as an inclusive nation.